Is Bali still the dream it once was? It was my dream long time ago, and my goal was to set up a base in Bali, but that changed. With the skyrocketing rents, with the overdevelopment, with the change of rules, with rising crime, the island is really out of control, if you ask me. And for many expats, it's time to rethink paradise. Hi everyone, it's Irena here from Millionaire Migrant. Here, we don't just sell you the lifestyle, we live the lifestyle. I'm talking about Bali, which was once upon a time, again, my dream to live there, but things change and you have to adapt to the world that's changing very fast. And that's why as well, Millionaire Migrant is here. We update you on the recent changes in the world, on the recent visa changes, lifestyle changes, tax changes, and others. So make sure to subscribe and to follow the latest changes in the world. Bali has been the ultimate dream, even for me and for all digital nomads, retirees, and long-term travelers. I spent some time in Bali back in 2022, which was right after COVID. And after my first week there, I said, yep, I want to move here. You have houses by the rice fields, you have cafes that are filled with entrepreneurs and digital nomads. You sit next to them, it automatically motivates you to work more, to want more. The easygoing lifestyle that they have, the people that are just amazing, and generally the culture and the religion that you just feel amazed. I actually remember a story. It was a person I met in Bali, a Balinese person, that told me a story how he found a wallet of some American guy or someone who dropped it somewhere on the beach. And it had like millions of dollars in there, I swear to God. Probably not millions, of course, but that's how he said it. And he said like, yeah, I chased the guy, I returned the wallet to him and that's it. I was like, yeah, it's amazing, but you never hear that story. Like people would usually at least get the money and then, get the wallet back with the ID and stuff, to the police station. It's like, oh, I found the wallet. And I started asking him questions about it. I was like, that's so good for you. You're a very, very, very kind person to do that. And he started to explain to me that it's about the religion, which is the center of the religion is as well the karma. So, which basically means that if I do something bad right now, that later on it's going to catch up to me. So with that in mind, that kind of made Bali as it was back then, because it was one of the safest places in the whole world. I wouldn't say as safe as, for example, Singapore or something like that, but it was very safe compared to the lifestyle that you get for it. Again, people are amazing. They still are amazing. But with more and more expats and tourists coming in, things are changing very fastly. Well, why I'm not in Bali? Things changed, like I said. And back then, one of the main reasons that someone would want to go there is for the laid-back lifestyle, for the nature, for, again, people, culture, and religion, and the costs. The cost one was one of the most important ones. I remember I once paid I think it was $400 for 2 persons in an amazing hotel resort in Seminyak for 2 weeks. So it was $400 for 2 weeks for 2 persons in like a very, very, very good resort. Now, the prices are not like that. To give you a perspective, in 2018, Bali's rent index was 8.1 and the cost of living plus rent was 26.6. In 2025, the rent index had jumped to 30.4 and the cost of living plus rent 32.1. So the rent went from the index part, 8.1 to 30.4. Do you know how much of a difference that make? It's the costs. It's not just rent. Back then, you could have eaten in any restaurant that you wanted. You could have rented bikes. You could have done anything and to live a very, very comfortable lifestyle. Even that, right now, the prices are above the roof. Rent being the first one, and then everything else. The second part is the overdevelopment, if you ask me. The rice fields are now pretty much turned into buildings. Those beautiful narrow streets that you once had, that just had palms and, again, rice fields next, and you see the full view and stuff. Well, they're now the busiest streets ever, and you spend around an hour trying to get through it because there is construction around you. The famous Uluwatu Cliff that probably everybody went to take a picture, to look at the sunset, to just chill, with some beer or coffee or anything like that. Well, they are now building the hotels there, and probably you won't be able to even get there, or if you get there, you have a picture of you in front of the hotel. The traffic has always been a problem, yes, but now it's kind of getting unbearable. I remember that even if you rent a bike, there was a biggest misconception that they're like, the traffic is bad, just rent a bike. And I'm trying to explain to people, it's not that easy. You get there, everybody is on a bike. Everybody's on a bike, and you can feel a person's hand on your hand that's standing right next to you riding a bike. It's so crowded, and even with a bike you can't move anywhere. My friend was just there like maybe a month ago or so, and he told me before the floods happened, so maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and he told me that from Ubud to Uluwatu it basically took them around 4 to 5 hours, which is usually like a 45 minutes drive without the traffic, even less. But I remember back then, it took me around an hour maybe to get from Ubud to Uluwatu, but right now it's like 4 to 5 hours. Do you know how long that is? So again, traffic has always been a problem, but now it is becoming unbearable. The pollution and the waste management, though, is a constant problem even now. Apart from that, the third reason is, like I said, the thing that got me drawn to Bali the most was, how safe it was. In the recent years, we saw big increase in crime and some of the safety concerns in Bali. Again, Bali had once a reputation of a very safe island, but right now kind of the theft, the motorbike snatching, the scams and others are becoming even more and more frequent. I wouldn't say that Bali is unsafe compared to some other places. For the global standards, still safe, but the steady rise in crime has kind of shaken the sense of security that I think the locals and the foreigners once back then took for granted, like myself as well. The police, on the other side, reports a 16% increase in foreigners being involved in crime from 2023 to 2024, ranging from, either cybercrime or narcotics to property fraud and others. And there's been a couple of even, unfortunately, deaths that happen. So again, I wouldn't say that Bali is unsafe compared to everywhere else, but it just shows that Bali may be losing its charm. And again, we can do a perspective on the culture and on the religion. Again, any crime was not tolerated in Bali simply because of the religion, because the locals believed that if they do a wrong thing, it's going to catch up to them, whether in this life or in the next life. And it's quite amazing then the perspective that they have. But right now, with everything happening, even locals cannot fight it anymore. And I'm wondering, I would like to hear from a local from Bali, what do they think? I mean, I'm sure that from one hand, life is beautiful because you get foreigners coming in, the prices are, you can rent your property for much higher than what you used to, and so on. So it's, you can monetize it, right? But keep in mind as well that Bali is an island. Bali can't, it's the same as Monaco versus, Dubai. Dubai has deserts around, and Monaco is just one spot. It can't get any further. The same is with Bali. It's an island, and eventually I think that it's gonna shrink, that it's gonna kind of go into other areas of Indonesia probably, and even some other places around Indonesia, other countries. But for now, again, there are still a lot of expats coming to Bali, but still a lot of expats as well leaving Bali. The fourth reason that I decided not to go to Bali was the taxation. And it's the biggest misconception ever. I hear a lot of digital nomads, a lot of expats who live there, the investors, saying, yep, I just don't pay tax, because I don't remit anything to Indonesia. Well, it's technically speaking, Indonesia has a worldwide income, which means that even if when you are a tax resident of Indonesia, which you become after spending 6 months there and pretty much getting some ties to Indonesia, you become taxable on your worldwide income. There are some exceptions, though. Don't get me wrong. There are some exceptions for foreign income that's not remitted to Indonesia, and some potential exemptions under double tax treaties. But generally speaking, foreign experts, investors, and researchers who meet specific skill requirements may be taxed only on the Indonesian sourced income for the first couple of years of residency. but not everyone. So that's what I'm trying to explain to a lot of people. And I had some of the clients calling me from Bali that say, no, I don't pay tax here. I was like, okay, are you sure? Are you sure you're not paying tax there? And I understand that the tax system is not as developed as it would be, for example, in France or in Spain, right? So I can understand that. But still, you don't want to get into the eyes of the tax office. So for me, this was one of the breaking factors. I pay tax back in my home country. I don't want to go and pay tax as well somewhere else. My goal is to pay less tax, which is, again, why we're here at Millionaire Migrant and what are we doing. Jeremy lives in Dubai when there is a zero tax. I live as a nomad and have my taxes handled as well. And basically that's the lifestyle, again, that we live, and we're trying to get you to live the same lifestyle and to show you the benefits of it. Now, going back to the topic, I think that despite all of these changes, Bali still remains very deeply attracted to many people. The climate, the culture, the island continues to host one of the largest nomad communities in the whole world, and I wouldn't say that Bali is unlivable. It's not, but it may no longer be the easy paradise it once was. And again, it's the same for me. There are a lot of alternatives that people can consider, and some of the ones that I'm exploring as well. The first one would be the Philippines. Okay, I just had a chat with a colleague who is from Philippines. He said, right now with the current government, maybe not the best time to go, but that never affected expats ever. It's very difficult. There is a big difference between locals and between the expats, but all in all, Philippines offers a digital nomad visa that's quite easy to get. English is very widely spoken. There's thousands of islands that you can go to get the Bali lifestyle if that's something that you'd want. And it's as well a very low cost of living. The infrastructure can be patchy outside of the major cities, but outside of that, the Philippines has a territorial tax system for expats, not for everyone. But for expats, it is a territorial tax system. So you don't have to actually pay tax on everything that's outside of the Philippines, unless, again, you're remitted. The next one is Thailand. Thailand is one of the new country that gets a lot of nomads. They had a new digital nomad visa. It's called different, but we just did a video actually about that, so make sure to check it out. It has a lot of others long stay options. It has a very diverse lifestyle, good healthcare, very strong expat scene. Tourist hubs are crowded. And costs are rising, but it's still very cheap compared to everywhere else. It also has a territorial tax system, so again, you're not taxed for everything that's outside of Thailand. The third one would be Malaysia, for example. I visited Kuala Lumpur. I wouldn't say that it's my type of city and my type of country where I would like to settle. It's very humid. It's a different kind of vibe as well. It's a Muslim country, which you can't really see, really. It's very diverse. But still, you have to kind of respect the religion as well. They do have a digital nomad visa. They have an excellent healthcare, really. Reliable infrastructure. English is very widely spoken. There's as well a lot of expats. Kuala Lumpur, again, offers kind of the city life. Well, if you want a bit more, beach life and, easygoing life, you could go to Penang, for example. Malaysia is also still territorial tax system. So again, everything that's made outside of Malaysia, you don't have to pay tax on. There are obviously some other programs that you can look at in some other countries. For example, the one that I keep an eye on for a very long time is Sri Lanka. It's not the best one out there, and it's pretty new on the digital nomad kind of horizon, but it is a country that I keep an eye on, and I do plan to go there, and I will let you know how it goes. But all in all, Bali has long been a dream destination, but for me, it's really not anymore. I think that as the world is changing, we also need to change, and we also need to change our goals and our destination as well. So, if you value peace, legal clarity, predictable costs, and stuff like that, it may be wise to leave Bali and to look for a place somewhere else. And if you need help with that, Millionaire Migrant can help you out. You can reach out to us, and we can, teach you how we do things over here. We can put together a blueprint for you that will be only for you and nobody else, and we'll have steps on where to go, where to open an account, where to open a company, how to get a visa, where to invest, the real estate, the gold and others, and so on and so forth. So reach out to us. Let's have a chat. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.